Hello guys, it's Jonathan McKnight again, and we're back with a review of chapter 959 of One Piece titled Samurai. Hope you guys have all had the ability to read it. For those who haven't, spoiler warnings, we're going to talk about the chapter right now. So, again, on the cover page, it talks about Capone Cane Beach, and it basically goes through him being on the mainland of Dressrosa and seeing the battle damage from the fight amongst Don Flamingo, his family, and amongst the Straw Hat Pirates. You basically see the damage from the bird cage that was left behind. Also, it shows that Dressrosa really hasn't recovered since that fight, and that it's going to take a lot more work to get that country back to where it used to be and what it can be. So King Ruku has to get back and get on his game. So let's move into the first part of this chapter. So the first section of this chapter, it basically does a 2-day flashback, and where it speaks about the ports and how everything was damaged prior to the day of the Fire Festival. And basically it shows not one but 3 of Orochi's henchmen being used to destroy the bridges, being able to destroy the fleet, and being able to destroy the Sunny. And what was weird to me was the fact that you would think Frankie would be prepared for this. We know Frankie had did a lot of work to get these ships ready, but the numbers were kind of off, because in this section it only talked about Frankie preparing 5,000 ships. And it really didn't delve into, okay, what happened to the additional ships that Frankie was getting ready for this battle? What else were they prepared to use? Did Frankie hide those, or were these ships just a decoy until the day of the battle because Frankie knew there was a traitor amongst their midst? So guys, to our knowledge, we don't have accountability for those other ships that were able to carry the next 5,000 men. And that's something that Oda will have to flesh out later. I doubt that many translations would be off. I think that originally there was 10,000 ships. There were ships that were able to carry 10,000 men, and right now either Frankie left a decoy because he knew that there was a traitor in the crew, or Frankie wanted to have those ships there and he wanted to bring another group of ships to another area so that he can help chauffeur those people to that area, so that they could all be there at one place at one time. But it's not truly believable that Frankie wouldn't be prepared for that. Also, in transition, we could only believe that Frankie was given intel about the ability of at least Kaido's henchmen. And of course, Kaido's, to our knowledge, strongest calamity is King. King can fly. King presents an aerial disadvantage to ships. So you would think that the big ship maker, like your main ship maker, would know, hey, I need the 50 ships to be able to take on an aerial assault. You would think that he would have that knowledge that King exists and that King is a pterodon, and we need to be able to take on that threat from these ships. Like, we don't want to leave them as sitting targets. And it's kind of odd to me that Orochi's henchmen, 3 guys who were basically slime users, or sad users, my bad, not slime, sad users, were able to take out the fleet. They were able to take out all the bridges from every city except for the capital, the flower capital. They were able to take out all the ways of transportation and all the routes of supply and resupply in one fell swoop. And nobody was able to stop them. Nobody fought back. Nobody attacked them. Nobody was prepared for that. So that kind of threw me off, because Oda basically made it seem too easy. And Oda, when he writes things, he will throw a little stick out there. He'll hit you with the carrot and stick to kind of bait you. But this just seemed way too simple. You're telling me that 3 guys blew up the bridges, blew up the fleet, and then blew up the Sunny as well? And we can speak on the Sunny now. I mean, transition to that, and in fact, is saying we know that Wano is closed off. We know that Wano doesn't receive as much information from the outside world as it should for the people. We do know Kaido receives information and intel, and we could bet that Orochi receives that same information as well. But I truly doubt Orochi would know that the Straw Hat ship is made of Adam's wood. If he knew that, he would be able to formulate a plan to attack it, to destroy it. But I truly doubt he would know that. Therefore, in my thought process, I don't think that the Straw Hat ship is destroyed. I think it's another decoy, just like they did in Big Mom's territory, in which when they were trying to flee, Wadasume of the Fisherman Pirates reached up, put the Sunny in his mouth, and he switched it out with the Fisherman Pirates flagship. That flagship was destroyed. He took Luffy's ship out of his mouth once he was burned and he was attacked and he couldn't take it anymore, and that ship was saved. Eventually, Jinbei, their helmsman, got them out of trouble. Did that ship take a lot of damage? Yes. Do we know if Frankie was able to fix that damage since his battle in Big Mom's territory? No, we don't know that. I don't remember seeing that. I don't remember reading that. If I'm wrong, chat, let me know. Please advise me and let me know. But to our knowledge, that is still a war-damaged ship. And to think that the captain of that ship will be taking it into another battle against the old Yonko, whose area you just fled, and a new Yonko who's supposed to be on par, if not stronger than she is. That doesn't make any sense to me, unless Luffy is okay with just the Sunny being destroyed completely this time, and Frankie using the resources that he has there in Wano, building a brand new ship. I mean, I think it's time for Luffy to get a brand new ship, considering that he is now walking into Yonko territory. I think it's time for Luffy to step up his game, honestly. And I think it's time for Luffy to make it known that, hey, not only am I Yonko in name, according to Big News Morgan, but hey, you know what? As far as in power, as far as in territory, as far as in going toe-to-toe with other Yonko, I have now earned the title of Yonko, and I will be respected and feared as such. With that being said, so we move on to the part of the chapter to where they talk about Kazuki Oden. So in the previous chapters, we've seen a lot of flashbacks showing specific parts and specific things about Oden, and every time Oden was brought up, he was in a silhouette. You never saw all the characteristics of Oden. You never saw all of his features. But this time we saw a full body silhouette of Oden on the last page of the chapter. And I know the fandom is going to go crazy because it made Oden look super hype. Oden looked like a badass samurai. And I can't wait for Oden to do the reveal and actually flesh out this character and show us just how bad he is. The thing that stood out to me was in the ending of the chapter, the last page. You hear the townspeople talking trash about Oden, basically saying, hey, he's failed again. He tried to set sail and he failed again, so he's basically in a bad mood. And you can tell Oden's in a bad mood because he's trotting back through the city talking trash to the townspeople, just as they're saying, hide your kids, hide your wives, hide your livestock. Mama, here comes that man. He's about that action. And it made me just hype just to be able to read the next chapter to find out, okay, what is Oden's backstory? Oda's finna give us a 38-year, 39-year flashback to talk about Oden. And I think it's gonna go prior to Oden becoming the Shogun, showing Oden's struggles. And we're gonna get a flashback showing just how bad he was when he first started fighting, because it still shows his two-sword style. So he had Emma back then. Odin was a bad man back then, and that's crazy. And if you would think, just give Luffy just 15 years ago, he wasn't as strong as he is now. Just think Odin 39 years ago, prior to his battle with Kaido before he gave him the scar. That man, he probably wasn't as beastie, but for them to go back and flesh that out until present time, right before he died, they're going to show some of his feats and why he was respected enough to be on Whitebeard's ship, as well as respected enough to be on the Pirate King ship, Roger, Goldie Roger. And I think that's going to be super awesome. They gave us a couple flashbacks of Big Mom's past. They really didn't dive into it as deep as I would have liked, but they showed basically why her mental state was what it was. So I hope this time when Oda does this flashback that he does it more justice and gives us a true understanding of what and who Kazuki Odin was. Not just as a person, but as a friend, as a mentor to all these different people. Basically the thugs he picked up off the street and made them his retainers, as well as to his children. And I also hope that in that flashback we get to see his wife and actually get to see her power, what happened to her power, her devil fruit, like what happened to it. Did she bestow it on her daughter? Did she bestow it on or hide it somewhere? Now that'd be super cool if she actually hid it somewhere in Wano and one of the Straw Hat members ends up getting that power. Like Nami, that would be pretty cool if Nami could get that power. But anyway, I digress. I'm super hyped for the Odin flashbacks. I'm super hyped for the fact that Wano is back in full effect. We're not talking about the Reverie anymore, which is a good thing. And we're 100% talking about the Wano arc. So again, thank you guys for listening. If you have any questions, or if there's any anime that you want me to talk about, any manga you want me to talk about, please leave a comment, let me know, and I will try to do my best to get back to you and do that. I do know I want to start talking about some Dragon Ball Super. I do want to delve into a little bit of Dragon Ball Heroes, depending on where they go with this storyline. To me, the storyline was a little bit all over the place, but depending on where they go with it, I might pay its due respects and talk about that a little bit. I know Seven Deadly Sins is out and they're doing their thing. I will be doing reviews of that. Attack on Titan, I'm going to try to do that. Hunter x Hunter, I'm going to deal with that a little bit. Of course, I'm going to stay with my one love, which is One Piece, and keep giving you guys as much as I can, as often as I can, reviews, my take. I'm going to try to do theories at least once a week, especially on the weeks when the chapter's on break. I will guarantee that I put a theory out. Just hit me up, man. Thank you guys for listening again, and peace.